So this is CLEARink ePaper 2.0. So hi. So what's the latest? This is a beautiful big display.
Correct. And good to see you again. After 1 year, a lot of improvement. We've gone from 1.3 inch to 9.7 inch panels. We've gone from 8 colors to 4,000 colors. Our improvements have been recognized all over the industry. This year Lenovo became the first major customer to invest in the company.
Lenovo is the biggest laptop manufacturer in the world, right?
They are, and they are now on the board of our company. And that's a major confirmation of where we are going to go. With this technology, we have today $300 million in confirmed commitments, largely for education applications, as this is seen as the future for primary and secondary education. These are reflective displays, no blue light,
ultra long battery,
video rate.
I'd love to have
full color.
I don't want to have any secrets or anything, but I'd love to have a ThinkPad with this display. So, but you're targeting mostly the what do you call it, smart notepad, right? The like tablets.
No, we're targeting
e-readers.
Education. So it's both tablets and simple laptops for school use. So the ThinkPad is high end. We will go there later, but the immediate biggest opportunity in laptops and tablets is really in education, where Bill Gates also mentioned in his annual letter that the big trend that he forgot to notice is that education is completely digitizing. Paper textbooks are going out of business, and that's where we step in. So as the technology matures, we'll go into more high-end markets, such as what you call it, the ThinkPad or the iPad space. But for now, it's education.
One of the main drivers of my career, for example, has been the One Laptop Per Child project, where they wanted to get the laptop to every child in the world, and developing countries, low power, they don't have a lot of power,
yes.
Could be solar powered.
Yes.
All this is happening now.
So the social value of this technology is enormous. There's many emerging markets where there is high brightness environment. There is a shortage of charging points, really, and we can make educational devices for emerging markets that will last a month on a battery charge.
1 month battery.
Yes.
And we're talking about 500 million children. We're talking about maybe billions.
It's
a lot of people
a
there.
sizable market. Yes.
Is a lot of potential to make the world a better place.
It's the solution for education for emerging markets, yes. And there's a lot of emerging markets to cover for us. We need the right partners. We need to invest more. What you see today is impressive. We actually still have a while to go.
It's so awesome. Like, people have been waiting to see this one, right?
Yes.
The large one, the large CLEARink.
We've always been popular at the Display Week show, but this year we've been totally overwhelmed. We have had triple bookings, quadruple bookings. CTOs of all major companies take note.
Take notes like those notes there.
This is something that we spoke about in the last few sessions, and that we now actually are able to show. There's many non-believers that have been converted this week.
So the SID Display Week is seeing is believing, and now we're seeing, so totally can believe it.
I think the number of believers has just multiplied by 5x or so during this show.
People have been hoping to get these on the market already, right?
Yes.
How soon is it? How soon is this on the market? This one.
Our current schedule is to bring Gen 1 products on the market in 2020, mid-2020.
2020.
Yes.
By the Olympics. I think it's mid-2020. So 9.7 is an important size, or?
So we're told that the 10-inch range is what's preferred in education for simple textbooks. So the typical e-readers, the Kindles, are a little bit too small for textbooks. And that's why the first product will be like a 9.7 inch.
Is it easy for you to just cut different shapes, different sizes, or you have to re-optimize everyone like crazy?
We have one customer who's good for an initial $100 million in revenue, who wants an 8-inch device, and we're designing that. It's a matter of design.
And then let's say a device like this is going to be super thin, and it's going to have 1 month's battery.
Yes.
A super thin device.
It's basically like an LCD. with a much longer battery life.
And the black and white mode here, how good is it for reading?
It exceeds anything that's in the market available today. It's dynamically updatable. It has a better contrast ratio than anything you've ever seen.
So how exciting is it right now to at CLEARink in the office?
You should talk to the team. The team is very excited. They have been talking to the heads of display technology at the major electronics companies. Everybody comes to the booth. It really motivates the team. The team believes in the mission, and the mission is to create a class of displays that stands next to LCD and OLED.
And this is what's happening here in the technology?
This is a simplified explanation of what's happening here.
Cool. It's so awesome to see it real. It's like a magic a little bit. What's happening?
It is magic, yeah. But it's magic with a very important social and environmental impact as well. People are becoming more and more concerned about climate change. If you're concerned about climate change, you do digitize education.
This is a Green New Deal display.
This is a Green New Deal display as well, yes.
This is should be compulsory. No more wasting of power, these power plants running all these displays.
It is a bit sad that we, for example, in China, for every year 9 million trees are cut to print textbooks which are obsolete and out of date 6 months later. And that's about 750 million kilograms of paper. It's really not necessary. There is a solution.
So here's the latest CLEARink demonstration right here. Full color video. So hi.
Hi, I'm Shri Peruvemba's Chief Marketing Officer for CLEARink. I'm very happy to show you the progress CLEARink has made in developing its ePaper 2.0 technology. At the SID's Display Week, we are showing 3 different demo products. This is a 9.7-inch display in what we call black and white mode to sort of imitate the look and feel of paper.
Yeah.
So we are showing some educational content here, text. You can see very fast motion. So we are trying to replicate a textbook experience in this particular case, mostly for reading purposes. The 9.7-inch display has a contrast of 16:1. We've actually, in the lab, produced even wider contrast than that. 227 dpi product, driven less than 5 volts, and 16 levels of gray. So it is in what we call a low power mode. So the frame rate has been deliberately reduced so that we can get much more consumption out of this in terms of low power consumption and a longer read times on this display. So one of the things that you'll see is that the white state reflectance on this is probably one of the best in the industry. Actually, it is the best in the industry.
So it's very white.
It is very white, and the contrast therefore also is excellent. So with the same technology, what we could do is put a color filter and create a color version of this display, which is what the market desires. Now, there's a lot of monochrome content for which you can use the exact same color display and show black and white content, which is very relevant for different applications. In this case, we are showing reading type applications and educational content, and there were also some images you can see that because it's so fast that you can do cursive writing, you can swipe, you can have drop-down menus, all of these things. And particularly the fine lines, because it's a 227 dpi display, you can get relatively fine lines on this screen, and so you can do cursive writing in pretty much any language that you want. So that is the monochrome version of the product, and here's the exact same display in landscape mode, but it is the color version. The content is in color. So here the intent is to take it into applications where they want color and video. Right? So with color, you convey a lot more information. And particularly in educational settings where you have much more information in terms of describing either a particular product or a phenomenon or whatever it is that you're doing that can be much better conveyed with colors. You're not looking for 16 million colors. You're looking for this particular device or this display has 4,096 colors. Right? That is what is required in the educational environment, and that's what this display is created for. And it's still very low power mode. It's sunlight readable. We're trying to mimic the sun here by shining a lot of light on it.
Yeah.
There is no front light on this particular display. There's obviously no backlight because it's a reflective display technology, and it has got all the goodness of a typical traditional ePaper, but it also adds color and video to this. Now the color created on this display is through a CFA, and so it is manufactured in a LCD factory, and we are using probably 80-90% of all the processes in LCD factory. Therefore, it is fairly low cost to manufacture a product like this, and it can be brought into the market a little bit sooner than building your own factory and creating exotic processes, which this does not have. This is basically an LCD process for the most part.
Is it full frame rate?
Not in this particular demo. This demo also is less than 30 frames per second, but the company has been able to produce 33 frames per second product that has been demonstrated more internally than in external environment.
So that's a big screen, 9.7 inch, ePaper 2.0. It's a little
That is the nomenclature to show it's the next generation of product, essentially taking the ePaper 1.0, if you will, including reflective LCD and other ePaper technologies. There were so many different ePaper technologies, right? And this is a step past that in terms of color and video capability. Here in this particular case, you see in this screen, we have a lot of very fine writing, and this is what we expect a typical use case in an education environment, where you have a whiteboard where the teacher would potentially write, either in this case math formula or draw some sketches and things like that, and that entire experience is replicated on a little tablet device that each student carries, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Nice.
Now, you're going to have situations where there's not a lot of ambient light, and therefore you would need a front light, and here's a front light demo. The nice thing about reflective display technologies like CLEARink's ePaper 2.0 is that you don't need a very strong front light. You need a very simple front light with very few LEDs to drive it. And because it's front light and not a backlight, there's not a lot of losses in terms of power efficiency. And you only need to use it when there's not enough ambient light. So in bright sunlight or high ambient, you would essentially turn off the front light and you only use it when you need it. And this would be more in terms of reading or using it in at night or in a low ambient kind of condition. So that is what is being demonstrated here with the front light technology.
So it's a tuned front light, especially well made for the CLEARink. Or is it just standard front light technology, or?
This particular one is not specifically tuned for CLEARink as yet, but that is what is in the process right now. But what is nice about this technology is you can tune the front light in such a way that it'll take maximum advantage of the eTIR structure on top of the display, that's the front plane, and it makes it much more efficient with that particular feature.
So you said there's a TR front plane. So the material, whatever is happening on the screen is specific. Something specific is happening that's a CLEARink thing?
Yeah, so the CLEARink's technology uses only one particle. It's got a black particle that will result in black pixels. The white pixel is pretty much given for free. You don't need to move any particles. The light reflects off of the front surface, which is a microstructured material that has the total internal reflection feature. And that's what creates the white pixels. So with this combination, by introducing a color CFA, color filter array, you're able to get these 4,096 colors, which are shown here in this particular graph.
Nice. It's just so awesome to see big CLEARink display. is a process that's been going on. It took a while to get here, right?
Yeah.
But,
display technologies are never easy, and this is one of the fastest developments in the display space. The company has used probably 1/10 of the amount that typically display companies use to produce the technology, and it's been developed much faster than almost anybody else. And the product, and part of the reason is the technology is fairly simple, and it is also a technology that can leverage existing LCD fabs and get it to the market a little bit sooner.
and there's even more optimizations that will be happening, right? Even more color, what's it called?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you were to talk to our CTO, he's looking at broadening both the number of colors as well as the color gamut in terms of percentage of NTSC. The work is going on in that area. We will also develop more higher resolution displays for certain applications. Right now, it's a 227 dpi display, which is more than ample for the education type of application. But for other applications where you need more resolution, that is also possible, and that is in the works. And then outside of this, there are non-display items that will sort of augment or sort of the ecosystem, which is developing unique drivers for the technology, developing newer color filters that is much more tuned with this technology, front lights and touchscreens and so on. Those activities are also ongoing in parallel.
How exciting is it for you, because you've seen a lot of displays, right?
Yeah.
And it's so exciting to see new technology and what the potential is, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the brightest reflector display to have ever been made, right? And this is also a technology that has all of the goodness of traditional technologies, but brings you an affordable and manufacturable color option through using an LCD color filter. And then it also shows video. This has been a struggle in the industry to be able to get a higher frame rate, so you can either turn the pages faster or drop down menus, internet access. In educational applications, kids want to watch videos of educational content. You consume information much better that way, and all of those features make this unique and exciting. And I like all display technologies, and this one I'm particularly excited about because it's got these features and benefits that we've been talking about for probably a couple of decades.
Is the ultimate dream of kind of like humanity is to have a video newspaper, right?
Absolutely. So we're pretty close to that. Right? And that was the goal. The industry has always been looking to replicate a paper-like experience, and something that is perfectly visible outdoors in sunlight, and something that consumes as little power as possible, because paper doesn't consume any power, right? However, it has many advantages over paper, which is, today tens of millions of trees are chopped down just to make textbooks for school children worldwide,
Yeah.
and you don't have that issue here. Second, there are remote parts of the world where neither teachers nor there are universities, you're not able to get information to the children there. And this is a way to get very high quality content, latest, greatest information. Literally your video could be watched by a child.
My video is going to be okay
Yes.
on this?
Yes.
But it's 4,000 colors, and it's not going to look strange a little bit, or?
Well, it is not going to look as vivid as an emissive display, but the idea is, it's very unnatural to shine light in your eyes, right?
Yeah.
Nobody ever told you to look at the sun or look at a bright light, but that's exactly what we're doing when you look at an LCD or OLED screen where there's a light shining in your eye, right? And that has its applications.
Yeah.
We are using them in mobile phones and tablets and so on. But this is for a very different purpose. This is for children to read for longer periods of time, and for adults that want to read or consume content without having to worry about a light shining in your eyes. There's numerous applications where that feature is very beneficial. The sunlight readability is a very good opportunity for outdoor type applications, whether it is automotive, whether it is signage and so on. And then there is also this whole aspect of low power, right? Imagine carrying a device like this with an emissive display technology. By lunchtime, your battery is going to be out. Whereas with this, you can be having this product on a single charge that you can use for many days or many weeks or probably in the future a few months. Right? Here's once again the monochrome content on the display. And
so when you want to do monochrome mode,
yeah.
You get more black and white than compared to the color version of the, right?
It's the exact same display.
But the black and white mode is going to be...
The only thing we have done in the black and white mode, and we don't even have to do that to realize the black and white content, all we're doing is to get more usage on the single charge, like get it even lower power, we're just reducing the frame rate, right? And that is what is necessary in those type of applications. But you could get the frame rate up, and that'll not impact the contrast or the brightness or any of those.
How good is the black and white here? How good is the reading experience?
Well, you can see for yourself. Unless the product is actually put into a device and in the market, until then you wouldn't know the exact studies and how good the reading experience truly is from a user perspective. But you can read content on this, you can watch videos on this, and
isn't it a glossy finish? Shouldn't it be matte or?
Yeah, those options are available depending on the application. If you are in a reading environment, you would put more like a matte finish or anti.
So that's just a layer of something.
Correct.
A film.
Correct.
A film of something.
Yes.
From maybe another provider on the market, just put a film on it.
Correct. Those are very well established. Every display technology uses those types of options, and we can use the exact same thing.
And how low power are we talking? It's not bistable.
This particular version is not bistable. The technology has been demonstrated in a bistable mode, but the company is not developing a bistable product at this point. The need in the market is a video product, and so it is still significantly lower power than
an iPad
LCD.
or something.
Yes.
But how about this size device, very thin? What is it, like a week battery life or no?
So if you use it, let's say, for about 5 hours every day in a reading mode, it'll last for a month. And if you use it for 5 hours every day in a video mode, it'll last for maybe 9 or 10 days. So it's still very significantly higher. So if you look at a lot of products, they only subscribe to about 30 minutes a day, which is really not the user experience we are targeting. So we think 5 hours a day is pretty normal in a classroom or some other types of applications. In that mode, we get 10 days with playing video all the time, or 30 days in a reading type application.
Does it have this thing where it needs to wash itself off the spots, or is that just because it's a prototype? Or
this is a prototype. That's where you see some image artifacts, which is pretty typical when you are manufacturing something and you're assembling something for a show. But those are not something that is changed with waveform or like that. These are prototypes, and that's how they would look. But in manufacturing, those are obviously not good.
So the white is the widest in the market. How about the black?
Yeah. So both the white and black, the difference between the two obviously is the contrast. This is one of the highest contrast displays that you find in the market, and you can very well see, with this image, words don't describe it. Pictures worth 1,000 words, and this demo is worth 1,000 pictures.
So.
And there we show a combination of both high contrast as well as fluid motion.
Nice.